I feel very happy when I see this large number of our leaders gathered here, having gone through a big electoral exercise. Congratulations, all of you. I thank you for supporting my nomination and recommending my name to CEC, to National Conference, for being the flag bearer of the NRM for presidential contest, and also for being the chairman of the NRM for another 5 years. Thank you so much. I participated in the exercise of the 6th of May when we renewed the register of the NRM. I went to my village, Raichtura, and we did our due diligence on our membership there. There was originally 350. It's a small village of some rich people. That's why the numbers are not very big. The original list was 350, but when we audited, we remained with 251 members. But in the whole country, as you had Right Honorable Todong telling you, our membership is more than 20 million. If you include the young children who are not yet 18. But when you remove the under 18, at that time, you would remain with 18.5 million. This is a very powerful force. And I congratulate you for being part of that huge national force. When I move around, I see a lot of young people who have come up now as members of parliament, flag bearers, as chairperson of the NRM in the district. I saw the one in Mpigi, I saw a young person there. I saw the young one in Mukono. Wherever I go, I see these young people. The other day, I was on the TV with Mama and we were watching TV West. And I saw a young person there speaking. I didn't know him. But when he mentioned his name, I knew he was a son of one of our old members, Kurra Ajire. Then I looked for the boy, a young man, the young leader, young powerful leader. And I congratulated him. I don't know whether he's here, the son of Kurra Ajire. Stand up and they see you. Oh, he has gone for tea. So, this is where the one of Mukono, let them come here and you see them. They are all young people. Mukono, Mpigi, the ones that I saw recently. Butambara. These are the ones I saw recently. Introduce yourselves and they see you.
I'm Tonjiru Hygiene Kurajire. I'm Fraga Beara, LC5 chairperson Barra district.
Oh, you are the brother of the other one?
And my brother is Chief Prosper.
Oh, these people have all come. Now, okay, we have seen you, all of you have seen you. Go back, thank you, thank you. You are many, you are many. You are all young. You take the... Very good, thank you. Go back, go back. So, the Banyankore, I'm really very happy to see these young people. Because wherever I have been going after the election, they are all young people. Now, the Banyankore say, Enjirezeire, Teri Wambwa, a warthog, which has got many young ones, will never be attacked by dogs. Because if the dogs attack it, its young warthogs will defend it. So I can see that these young people will defend the NRM. I congratulate you really. When I was seeing you, when I was moving around, I remembered what Mwalimu Nyerere told us in 1968 when we were at the university. I had organized a group of 6 other students without informing anybody. We just worked quietly with Dr. Mondlane, the leader of Mozambique that time, who was assassinated by the Portuguese. And we went during the holidays to the liberated areas of Mozambique, where Frelimo had chased the Portuguese. I went there, spent like a month, and when we came back, we gave a press conference in Dar es Salaam, saying what we had seen. Because there had been a campaign against the freedom fighters that these people are just telling lies, that there is no liberated area. That's when I said, but if they are saying there is no liberated area, let's go and see it. So I organized these 6 other students, plus John Kawanga. Here in Uganda, I only went with John Kawanga. Unfortunately, he got stuck in DP and didn't do much. But we had other boys from Tanzania and from Zimbabwe, Malawi, who went with us. So when we came back and it was in the news, really the campaign, undermining the campaign of the imperialists who were discrediting the freedom movement, saying that they are just, they will not do much. And we said, no, we were there for a month, we were in a liberated area, and the Portuguese were not there. The freedom fighters were very happy, but Mwalimu was very happy, and when he called us to his house, he said, I can now sleep, because I can see that even when I'm not there, you people will be there. That's what Mwalimu said, 1968. And we have seen what we, the young warthogs of Mwalimu Nyerere, have done, because we have kept what he was fighting for alive all these years. And now I am happy to see the young warthogs now. Now, we are going to have our conference, and during the national conference, I will make a comprehensive speech there, which I propose to be part of the manifesto. And this, my analysis will show a number of areas. Area number 1 would be the stability. The fact that Uganda has been stable for the first time in about 700 years. You know, when I see people talking, they talk as if Uganda has just come up now. We, the indigenous people of this area, know the situation very well. The last time we had stability like we have had under NRM was under the Bachwezi, 900 to 1400 AD. When the Bachwezi kingdom collapsed in 1400 AD, we had these small kingdoms, the one they are talking about now. This is Buganda, Bunyoro, Ankole. These are small kingdoms which came yesterday. And the kingdoms were busy fighting one another. Those small kings, disturbing our peace. Rwanda, Ankole, Buganda, Bunyoro. These were the main troublemakers in the region, until the Europeans came and captured them like grasshoppers because of being divided. From that time, when independence came, no stability, chaos. But NRM has been able to maintain stability for 40 years now, because of two things really. Good politics, which has enabled us to form viable national political parties like this one here. You can see, you can look at yourselves. You reflect the whole of Uganda. By districts, by religions, by age, you are all there. You are all members of the NRM. That philosophy of bringing people together, the one which has enabled us to have this nationwide party. In 1962, they couldn't do this. I've told you many times the election they had that time in April 1962 resulted into minorities. UPC had only 37 seats, DP 24, Kabaka 21, Parliament had 82 seats, Ndan had 50%. So nobody could form government. That's why they had to have alliance of Kabaka and UPC, which lasted only 2 years. Anyway, in chaos. But here, because of those four principles, it is love Uganda, Pan-Africanism, love Africa, socio-economic transformation. That's why you are all able to come together, because of that belief in interests, not identity, as the Secretary General said. So that's one reason why we have been able to maintain stability. But that doctrine has enabled us also to form other national institutions, such as the army, the police, the judiciary. You saw the other day when there was a recruitment of the army. The story that came in the news was the boy who died in Amatar when they had gone to recruit soldiers there. And they made it clear that there was a quota for every district. That's how the army is built. We recruit from everywhere. By each district has got its share, more or less equal share. And that's how we have been able to build a national army that can maintain peace and security. And other institutions, judiciary, civil service. This is one reason why we have been able to maintain stability. This will all be in my statement. But the second reason is the economy. The economy is not easy to manage. That's why many people, many countries in the world get into problems. Uganda's economy has grown to now $6 billion. By the foreign exchange method. If you use the PPP method, purchasing power parity method, it is 188 billion. In 1986, they say it was 3.2 billion. If you use only the foreign method, that means the economy of Uganda has grown 17 times in the last 40 years. And it has gone through 5 phases. Phase 1, minimum recovery. To bring back the minimum. I will explain it more in the bigger conference. Minimum including the products, but also the consumer items in the shops. The salt, the soap, the paraffin, the textiles, the sodas, all those were in shortage. But we were able to recover that minimum recovery very quickly. Then expand that small economy of the 3 C's, the 3 T's. I've told you about this before. The economy of the 3 C's, coffee, cotton, and copper. 3 T's, tobacco, tourism, and tobacco and tea. So we're able to bring some of those back, but expand them. More tea, more coffee, more of whatever it was going on. That is phase 2. Phase 3 was diversification. To diversify, make other, because in the colonial times, they were talking of cash crops. But coffee is a cash crop. Tea is a cash crop. Tactics of keeping the roads safe. That tobacco is a cash crop. Tea is a cash crop. In South Africa, at that time they were talking that these were crops. How about milk? No. That's just a local food. How about beef? That's a local food. How about bananas? Hii ni chakula tu ya nyumbani. How about maize? No, that's not a cash crop. Cassava? No, that's not a cash crop. You can imagine the confusion. The British were only interested in what they wanted, what they lacked. They didn't care about anything else. You can imagine in Ntungamo, we had 6 shops there. 4 shops of Indians and 2 shops of Arabs. And in those 6 shops, they were selling tinned milk. It was called condensed milk. From New Zealand, in Ntungamo there. This is the one they were selling in the shops. And yet we had cows just 2 miles away. Mzee Kaguta and our group. We had cows there, but our milk, we never go to a factory. Total disconnect. Peasant economy disconnected from the modern economy. So when the NRM came, because we were very clear about this, we diversified. The economy has recovered, number 1. It has expanded, number 2. But number 3 has been diversified. Milk is a cash product. Beef, cash product. Maize, the maize, what our Busoga people call duma. The maize flour was being sold in Ntungamo in packets of 2 kilograms, I think, or something like that. But from Kenya, from the white farmers in Kenya, nobody was producing maize here for the market. But for us, maize is a cash crop. Beans, soya beans, we were able to do the road Mitiana to Mbende using soya beans with the butter trade with Yugoslavia. From the beginning, Sugar cane, cash crop. Cassava is now going to be a very big cash crop. Bananas, so diversification. That is phase 3. Phase 4, value addition. Adding value. Some of the products we have added value all the way. The fish factories were able to add value from fishing to processing and freezing and packaging. Milk, maize to some extent, sugar cane. We went up to sugar for drinking, but now we are adding other products, making ethanol from sugar and so on. So that is phase 4. Phase 5, the introduction of the knowledge economy. Economy not just adding value to sugar cane, to milk, but bringing new products, which are not simply adding value, but fabricating, making. You can show the delegates our vehicles, which we are making, if you have them on the screen. I don't know whether the screens are there. Do you have screens there? Are being fabricated from the beginning, from design, from everything, by your own people. This is why we talk of the knowledge economy, not just economy of coffee and tomatoes and so on, and Nakati and Markwang and all. Thank you very much. But also economy of knowledge. Automobiles, vaccines, computers. Let them show us the computers if they have them. Computer assembling now. If they have them, they will show them to us. So these are the 5 phases where we are now. And now, the slogan which we put forward was protect the achievements as we execute a qualitative leap. Qualitative leap. This concept of qualitative and quantitative is part of the dialectics. When a baby is in the womb, the baby grows quantitatively. Size grows. But at 9 months, quantitative growth must transform into qualitative change. That organism, the baby, must become a new form of life. Otherwise, if it remains only a fetus, it will die. That's why we are telling the World Bank and other groups, they talk of sustainable development. It's sustainable. How can you be sustainably pregnant? 4 years. You are pregnant this year, pregnant next year. Are you not sick? Are you really? Pregnancy at 9 months must result in a new form of life. The baby. That's how nature is. You cannot have stagnation in the same way forever. Then the baby grows, quantitatively grows, but at 14, 15, these days they do earlier, the baby becomes a teenager now. Qualitative change. Puberty. Banyangole kuri tokushogoya, umshogoyo. Come. So therefore, the same with society. You cannot have peasant producing another peasant and you think you are doing well. The The society now must change. The teachers of history don't teach history very well. European history is very, it is like a laboratory of transformation. Because in 1400, Europe was a three-class society. Peasants, artisans, emyoga. Artisan means emyoga, what we tell you about emyoga. And the aristocrats, the rulers. And that was the same structure here. We had the same structure. By that time, 1400, we had the same structure here. We had the farmers or cattle keepers and cultivators. We had the artisans, our here see blacksmith and all that. And we had the aristocrats, the rulers. But the difference between Europe and us is that for some reason, by 1789, the time of the French Revolution, Europe society had gone through a metamorphosis. This metamorphosis is a process in biology of insects, where the insect changes from egg to caterpillar to pupa to mature butterfly. Society must do the same. So by 1789, the European society which had been a three-class society, had become a four-class society. What were the four classes? The aristocrats were still there, the feudalists. But now you had a new class which had never existed in human history. This is the middle class. The people who lived by making a difference between what you put in and what you get out, which is what we call profit. Profit. Me, the cattle keeper in Tungamo, I was living by drinking the milk of my cows and eating the bananas on my plantation. But the middle class lives by buying something at 10 shillings and selling it at 20, making a difference of 10. And he lives by that. He lives by profit. This is the middle class, which had come, it had never existed in human history to such an extent. They were calling it the bourgeoisie in Europe. But people who teach history don't bring this out. They just talk like this. Now, the bourgeoisie were a new social class. But then they came with another class, the working class. People who live by wages. Mzee Kaguta lived for 97 years. All those years he never got a wage, a salary from anybody. The man lives for 97 years, he has never been paid a salary. How does he live? He lives by the milk of his cow, by the bananas of his garden. That's how he lived. But this person who lives by, one lives by profit, another one lives by wages, salaries. And these salary earners were called the proletariat in the French system. Then you had the peasants. The peasants were still there, 1789. But if you go to Europe today, look for the feudalists, they are no longer there. You look for the peasants, they are no longer there. What do you have? Middle class and class. But in Africa, you had peasants in 1400. You still have peasants in 2025. This is where the crisis is. Then you get leaders running up and down. What are you talking about? You are leading a stagnant society. This society must transform. Even the World Bank. The World Bank, I had a problem with them. Sustainable. I said, what is sustainable development? I don't believe in sustainable pregnancy. That is Omuga. That is a disease. You must undergo transformation. So that's what we are talking about now. We are saying this time, now that we have created this base with the 5 phases: recovery, expansion, diversification, some limited value addition. Now we are beginning to enter the knowledge economy. The whole society must be mobilized to, first of all, engage in the money economy. All of them must be in the money economy. With the Chivaro, Chura, Aymar, Otita. Then there are 2 ways of how you transform. Number 1 is everybody joining the money economy. Because you can imagine, Mzee Amos Kaguta lived for 97 years. But for most of the years, he was outside the money economy. He started joining the money economy in 1989 when we made milk a cash crop, a cash product. So he was joining the money market, the money economy. By that time, I think he was like almost 80 or something. And up to now, you remember, we still have people, I think now 33%. In 2013, when I involved Saleh with the wealth creation, the people outside the money economy, the families outside the money economy, were 68%. Abakorele chida chonka. Abagule barirudawa. Mwere hanu babona abagwere bofanana. Abagwere mbatakaino. Abagwere.
With the permission of the chairman, I don't know whether we can give 1 minute to Honorable Rebecca Kadaga to say something.
Let us say something.
Right, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, you're on the floor.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Chair and the delegates. I'm just seeking clarification from the Secretary General. Last time we had the elections, they were decentralized in our districts. So we're not together. This time the elections are going to be in one venue. So we want to know whether you will have screens to show the results polling station by polling station. I think it's important that they are put on the screen for total accountability and transparency.
Whatever will happen in Kololo will be in the open. The lines will be in the open during the day. They will be counted in the open and declared.
It's not just for nothing, please. The second matter, what constitutes the polling station? Because for candidates, you have to appoint agents. Is the polling station a district? Is the polling station a region? We want answers to that so that you know if it's a region, you need fewer people. If it's a district, you need many people. So I want clarification on that one. Those are the 2 issues I wanted.
I think it's best that the Chairman Electoral Commission gives the guidelines at the right time before the election.
No, but you can tell us even now.
If he has the answer, please.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency and Chairman of the party. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are coming, we are not made aware that we shall give the guidelines for the election. We have all guidelines printed, extracted from the general guidelines approved by CEC. 1, unless the constitution changes, voting shall be by lining up. Number 2, candidates shall get agents from delegates and agents of their choice. Number 3, voters come from districts. Districts constitute regions. So voters shall be called district by district for transparency. Addendum to that, all candidates out of the CEC candidates meeting were humbly requested by the commission to come and get list of delegates, to bring flashpoints and get list of delegates so that they know who the delegates are. I'm happy that they have done, and even Right Honorable Kadaga did it. End result, how shall we manage the results? When a line is instituted by the voters, the counting shall be in English, 1 by 1, with agents of the candidates in question following up, and with the screens in every tent.
But will it be by districts or by zones, by regions?
Sub-regions.
Sub-regions, yes.
Yes, Your Excellency, sub-regions.
Because those are fewer.
Yes.
There are about 20 or something.
There are 21 sub-regions.
Oh, okay.
The Electoral Commission of the party has the manpower enough to handle this election. We are going to start election.
So I think the answer to Rebecca is it will be by sub-regions.
Sub-regions, Your Excellency.
So that they are easier to manage.
Yes, Your Excellency. And to candidates,
each district brings how many?
the delegates per district differ, but
Average.
Average 100.
Okay.
Good enough, we shall have done away with the leagues. The first election will be the leagues, the different leagues. Youth League, Women League, and after we get the leaders from those leagues, the other delegates go back home. It's only the ones voted who will come to the main conference. Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, we are open to any dialogue before that day. All candidates anyway, not only Right Honorable Kadaga. We are open to dialogue, we are open to questions, we are open to, let's meet as a family. I submit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So you see the importance of reading the names. Some other names had come in without proper procedure. So,
Your Excellency, I needed to clarify something to the delegates. For those going for the special interest group meeting on Monday, we now have your cards which have been captured in the system. We may not need to do re-accreditation for you. The accreditation will be for those coming from the districts, which will start tomorrow by 8 in the morning. We have your list, and we shall just recommend you and forward you for the conference. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, they are asking for amendment to the resolution.
okay.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, in the beginning of this conference, the Secretary General raised a very important matter, which you did not respond to in your final speech. In the matter of corruption, whereby, especially in the Entrepreneurship League, people have decided to hijack voting delegates and taken them even out of this country. So I would like to put an amendment, Your Excellency, that we set a precedent that nobody owns delegates, that we actually suspend the elections of Entrepreneurship National League, Your Excellency, so that we investigate this matter further. You cannot hijack delegates and keep them away from other voters. That is a very wrong aspect. And even in the district elections, people were doing that, Your Excellency. Thank you. I would like to move that, Your Excellency. Thank you.
It was a proposal for amendment, and if a ruling is passed by the national chairman, we shall decide on what to do.
No, what do others say about that?
Can we have 2 or 3 people speaking to this? And make sure you put your point straight.
Mr. Chairman, my name is David Mutebi from Buyukwe. I belong to the Entrepreneurship League. Mr. Chairman, the matter that has been brought before this conference is a very serious matter and of criminal nature. And it is not proper to raise such an important matter of criminal nature which has not been brought before the right institutions to handle. I don't think this conference is the right forum to investigate such an allegation. You have your time, you will speak. I therefore think it is diversional at this point to bring such an amendment in this kind of resolution.
Your Excellency, my name is Amanya Cohen. Your Excellency, procedurally, it's wrong to adopt. We had crossed the chapter of adoption of the motion. Once we adopted, Your Excellency, you asked whether there is an amendment. The amendment was not done at that particular moment. Secondly, Your Excellency, whatever is being said here as a lawyer, is hearsay. Let it be investigated and then evidence be brought here. Your Excellency, you are being taken into the politics of the Entrepreneurs League. Your Excellency, don't allow such things to happen to our party. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Engineer Joshua Swaka, you are card from the Mitre District of Taleja.
Your Excellency, this is just a rumor. And if people are taken, have people called the security that they have been abducted? So now you don't want issues. Let people come. We have sent all these people for voting. I have no evidence, like in Butaleja, that people have been hidden. So please, they should not enter you into some of these wrangles. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, I am Okea John, the District Chairperson of Tororo. Your Excellency, this is a very big allegation because all the entrepreneurs from Tororo are within. They are not hidden anywhere. But besides that, we are not in a wedding. We are in politics, and that is part of politics. So it's just fair game. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, my name is Nachi Julius. I'm the father of Dadiri East. I'm also Chairman Entrepreneurs League. Chairman Entrepreneurs League for Sirongo District. Your Excellency, as far as I'm concerned, and my members, nobody has abducted anybody. In fact, whoever has gone to Nairobi, they told me they have gone just for business, and they are also trying to see how to link up with other people. So nobody has been abducted. Let the election go on.
Comrades, Thank you, Your Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief and the leader of the Revolutionary Party. My name is Philip Kakura, my contestant in Entrepreneurs League. And I would like to put this on record that, Mr. President, we wrote to you our petition with evidence of immigration stamps and the list of all delegates that traveled out of the country. Mr. President, it's on record that there was a process of NRM that was taking place on that day, and those delegates did not participate, which tantamounts to sabotage of party activities. Again, Mr. President, we were told in the rules as contestants that anybody who breaches that code of conduct by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the secretary present here, that he or she shall be disqualified. So are we saying we are playing selective politics, or we don't live by the words of what we say? We must practice what we say, and this is a test of democracy in the NRM government. Thank you.
Your Excellency, I am Peter Abrams Irar, the Mayor of Kotudo Municipality. What the matter, Your Excellency, these are speculations that are intended to spoil the next election. We must remain committed, focused for the next election. Your Excellency, the last one, on behalf of all these delegates. Yesterday, Your Excellency, there was some small rain at the Secretariat. Now, we request for heavy rain in this place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Tony Wamagale. I'm the LOC5 flag bearer, Mbale District, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, on the matter of hiding delegates, I want to say that all those delegates above 18 years, Your Excellency, they are mature enough to take the right decision. So when they hide them, and we said maybe we are nullifying such an election, Your Excellency, it will go further, even including the youth, the women league, and others, because there are some people already hiding. Let's allow us to take place. We believe that these people, when the right time comes, they will decide without maybe saying that they have been bribed. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm Nambajmana Alex. It is true that some of delegates were hijacked and taken to Nairobi. It is true, the evidence, they are there. My opinion on that, Your Excellency and the members, I propose that that candidate who took the delegates there be disqualified. Thank you.
His Excellency, Adrian Katsime Mwevesa, flag bearer, Shema District. I think hijacking is a different word. If we have police case here, if people are reporting there people that have been hijacked, I think it's a case to talk about. But talk, campaign is war. If you have strategies of having your people to vote for you, I think there's a case here to talk about.
Your Excellency, my name is Alan Bola, Chairman UK and Ireland Chapter. I'm here, I've handed in a proposal on the constitutional amendment in regards to diaspora leadership. The diaspora, we love you.
Let's first resolve the other one. The issue of bribery is a criminal case. So those who are saying that it is politics, and politics you can use any methods, are not right. You cannot use bribery for elections. It's very bad. It's very dangerous. And it is criminal. I don't know what it says about the disqualification, but certainly it is criminal. But I think the issue here is that we have not had time to investigate it. We don't have the facts yet. So therefore, and since people we have got a big exercise, we have not. I think the correct thing would be to say, first of all, we have condemned corruption. Did we not put it in our resolution?
Yes, sir, it's there.
Now, but we don't have the facts. It can be noted. We have noted the allegation that people were, what my girl from Shema is saying that they are above 18, therefore they are bribable. That's not correct. You cannot, because normally people who commit crime are adults. People who kill people are adults. They are not children. People who commit murder, they are adults. So if you are adults but you commit a crime, you are answerable. Please be careful with this. But in this case, I think the real issue is, number one, we have not investigated this. Now, logistically, even to postpone, say we don't have elections on this issue because we are investigating. I think it is better to go ahead with the election, but note it and investigate. And investigate. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to investigate it. And then, even after the elections, it can be nullified. But those who are arguing that with politics you do everything, that's not correct. So I think the issue here is the investigation. We have not had time to investigate, but now we are going to investigate it. Now on the issue of the rain is, no, listen, rain is seasonal. If you are from this part of the country, of the world, we have a chair. This is now a chair. The dry season. Then we have the katumba, the small season. Then we have akanda, the small drought. Then we have itumba, the big rain. So when Byamukama was talking of the rain, it was for the new elected members of parliament who had gone for the what do you call it, the induction at Kyankwanzi. So when that comes, for the LC, for the MPs, for LC 5 chairpersons, once we have gone through, then the rain may rain that time. But you cannot have rain in the dry season. You have rain in we are going to get floods very. Okay, so I think in this case we have noted this issue of the abduction. We are going to investigate it, but it should not stop the process. We shall take action. Now, Kakuru, the entrepreneur person from South Africa, was saying that you can disqualify. What do the lawyers say? Do you disqualify without evidence, or can you just, even if you are to disqualify, you
Your Excellency, you cannot disqualify without evidence, and also it is not NEC that would disqualify. It would have to be referred either, depending at what stage, either to a disciplinary committee or to a tribunal.
No, I think here what they were talking about because NEC recommends to the National Conference.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. At that stage, if the evidence were there and the offense had been proved, NEC would then use that.
Yeah.
But in this case, they can't.
So I think for either disqualification or crime, you need evidence. So let's start on that.
Well, Your Excellency,
there are allegations, but we need to prove them.
Yes. I think the only, maybe the thing can be that to recommend that an investigation takes place.
Yes.
And a report to be brought.
Yes, we can recommend. I think that is in order. Can we do that? Recommend investigation. We cannot keep quiet about this. It's very dangerous. You are playing with fire. You are playing with fire. Don't play around with people's institutions. This is what killed UPC. Don't play with fire. This is fire. Because if you are cheating like this, what do I do if I want my country to improve? And your answer is cheating, cheating, cheating. You are now saying I should go to the bush. This is how we started. We told UPC, stop. Nchanga karuru. Twatera karuru, shahemu nextreka, kuzahika mnano bote yako machi wanuka. They thought it was a joke. So please, don't play around with fire. Stop. Now, therefore, here, we recommend investigation. Do you agree to that? Okay. Noted, but investigation.
Thank you, and that will be captured in the resolution, and we forward the resolution to the delegates conference. Thank you. So, thank you, and may God bless you all. For those going to attend the special interest group meetings,
I adjourn the meeting. What do I do now?
You adjourn the meeting.
I adjourn the meeting. We meet at Kororo.
Thank you, Your Excellency. There is supper. Make sure you don't leave. And for those attending special interest group meetings, please, your conference bags and your allowances will be